Alright, welcome back to Jersey Nick Moto. We're down First Street in Bayonne at Dennis Collins Park because in this video we're gonna walk the Bayonne Bridge, which goes from Bayonne to Staten Island and crosses the Kill Van Kull. But we'll take a walk around the park here for a little bit because in the last video I mentioned Chuck Wepner, the famous Bayonne bleeder, and they have a statue dedicated to him right here. And that is Staten Island, New York. And that's the Bayonne Bridge that we'll be walking shortly. Alright, so in order to walk over the bridge, we have to go to around 7th Street to park to get onto the walkway. But as we drive there, now I mentioned in the previous video that they filmed War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise here in the 2000s, and the Bayonne Bridge had a big scene in that movie, and a couple of the houses at the foot of the Bayonne Bridge in the movie blew up. So we're gonna go past that in a few minutes. And there's a view of the bridge, and I'll give you some facts about the bridge before we walk over it. I'm gonna make a right on Kennedy Boulevard, and some of these houses that'll be on our left were the ones featured in the movie that exploded with Hollywood magic. And I believe number 11 is where in the movie Tom Cruise's father lived. Alright, so we got a parking spot. We're gonna go walk the bridge. So the Bayonne Bridge, it cost $13 million. It was completed on November 14th, 1931. It connects Bayonne to Staten Island, New York. The arch of the bridge in the 1930s was 150 feet above water level, so that the U.S. Navy's tallest ships could pass underneath. In 2019, the bridge was raised 64 feet, so larger ships of today could pass underneath. And they did that while keeping the bridge open most of the time. So now we're going to go over to the walkway and take a walk over to Staten Island. Here's some facts about the bridge. You could pause it and read it if you like. Alright, so we're walking over from Bayonne to Staten Island. Now, I got mixed feelings about Staten Island. I dated a bunch of girls from Staten Island over the years when I lived in Bayonne. That's when you could afford the toll. I believe it's almost $18 now to cross one way. We hung out in Staten Island a lot when we were young. Back then, the Staten Island kids didn't like us. We didn't like them. You know, stuff happened. And I'm sure if you're watching this video and you live in Staten Island or you're from Staten Island, you're saying the same thing about the Bayonne kids. But it was cool. We had fun. Some more facts about the bridge you could pause and read if you could see with the sun glare. Some history on Bayonne and the ports. You can see the ports in Newark over there. Alright, let's keep going. So we got a cargo ship coming through. coming through to kill Van Call. It's going to go under the bridge and probably going out to the Newark Bay and the ports over there in Newark. Port Newark, Port Elizabeth, Port Authority Police. Fun fact about the Port Authority Police, you always had to look out for them when we were driving back from Staten Island. So I'm not going to say we might have been inebriated, but, you know, we did stupid things, but we survived. That's why they raised this bridge a few years ago, because the ships were getting bigger and bigger. They had to come under here to get to the ports. Looks like it's got 2 tugboats and 1 trailing behind. Here's some more history about unifying the ports, New York and New Jersey. Again, I think the reflection's too bad. You could look that up. But I know there was always controversy. There was always mob going on in the ports. That's just the way it is up here. I don't know if I'm going to make it to see this boat go right under us. Yeah, it's moving pretty quick now. Well, not really quick, but faster than I could walk this bridge. There goes the ship. Wonder what's on all those containers and where it's coming from. This is First Street, where we started out this video. Like I said, years ago, used to be Uncle Milty's. Way beyond my time. Out all the way in the distance is Manhattan, New York City. Like I said earlier in the other video, Bayonne is only 11 miles from New York City. It's overlooking out at the town. We're at the south end of the town. That would be looking north. That would be looking east. And then west would be behind me. And that's Staten Island, where we're headed. So I'm guessing if you got to go up and change those light bulbs, you got to walk up this ramp and change these bulbs. I know they used to light up red, white, and blue, I think during 9/11. I don't know if they still do. I haven't been here at night in a while. But here's a little look at the infrastructure of the bridge. It was originally built in 1931. I always remember that year. It's the year my grandfather was born, so it sticks out in my head. Got a tugboat coming and going. Here we are at the middle of the bridge. We are on the New Jersey-New York border. We're going to be crossing into New York. All right, now we're in New Jersey, and now we're in New York. Good old Staten Island from up here doesn't look much different from Bayonne. Staten Island, or as they call it, Shaolin, birthplace of Wu-Tang. Yeah, you wouldn't think by looking at me, but I do have some knowledge of 90s hip-hop. I was in high school then. That's all there was. Far cry from the Tennessee-loving country music fan that I am now. Well, I wasn't a big hip-hop fan. I was a Guns N' Roses fan back then. I was always the oddball. Rest of the school listened to hip-hop. I was listening to Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Pearl Jam, Nirvana. Look back across that Bayonne. Another look at Staten Island. I would assume that's a high school. If anybody knows, they could drop it in the comments. Like I said, I don't know much about Staten Island other than the bars we used to hang out with and whatever neighborhoods the women I dated lived in back then. Oh, fun fact, the only other reason I used to come to Staten Island was that I used to have pet turtles. And you couldn't buy them in New Jersey, but they sold them in the pet stores on Staten Island. They were legal in New York. So I used to come here to buy my turtles. That was a long time ago. I don't have them anymore. Also, what I remember about Staten Island, many years ago when I was a kid and the bridge was cheaper, probably about $4 or something. Anytime the New York lottery was high, my grandfather used to come over here and get off the first exit over there and play his lottery. He used to take me all the time. That's another memory of Staten Island. That's back when I was really young. It is a really nice day for a walk too. Here's a little sign about the neighborhoods in Bayonne and Staten Island. I believe this is the Port Richmond section of Staten Island. So maybe that's Port Richmond High School? I don't know. Anybody that knows, leave it down in the comments. And what I say before, if you look out in the distance there's the Port Authority police waiting to nail you. See, some things never change. Back when I used to drive over, there used to be a toll booth. Now it's all electronic. Easy Pass, so I guess they bill you in the mail. I believe we used to get off that exit 13, and there was a little bodega over there. My grandfather would play the New York lottery when it got big. That's the cop we tried to avoid getting a DUI when we were driving home from the clubs. When we went out with our hair all gelled and spiked, and I know you can't believe it, but I used to have a full head of black hair that I used to stand up. Down there's a sign that says "Welcome to New York." It's probably too far away. We'll see what this sign says over here, and then we'll turn around and walk back to Bayonne. This is a really nice day. I'm glad I did this today. I hope people are liking these Bayonne videos. Brings back memories. Yep, we started out on the path to Staten Island. Now we're in Staten Island. We're going to head back over the path to Bayonne. It's good getting my steps in today. There's another view of the bridge from the Staten Island side. All right, let's start heading back. So like I've mentioned before, the reason I'm making these videos is that when I made that other one, when I rode my bike, my motorcycle through Bayonne a few years ago, got so many good responses, and most of it were people that used to live in Bayonne and moved out, like myself. I lived there 35 years. I moved out 10 years ago. And what most of us say is that when they moved out, they'd never come back. And that's true for me too, for a variety of reasons, but I can't speak for everyone. But it's not because I hate Bayonne. It's not, I mean, the reasons I wouldn't come back is the number one, I couldn't afford it. Property taxes are ridiculous. Real estate prices, like the rest of the country, are through the roof, but they're just even higher in Hudson County. Hey, Hudson County is a corrupt county, man. And no two ways of looking at it. But with that said, like a lot of people that commented on that video, like, we're very proud to be from Bayonne. Like whenever somebody asks me, hey, where do you live? The answer automatically always is, oh, I live in Woodbridge, but I'm originally from Bayonne. It just comes out of my mouth. I can't help it. We're very proud people. And we always get the shit too, like, you know, if it's from Bayonne, leave it alone. 14A, stay away. I love that too. Because, you know, some of it's true. It was kind of a rough town at times. I mean, we grew up different. We were hanging out on street corners, getting in bar fights, driving over to New York City, dabbling on the other side of the law sometimes, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, we had some shit go on sometimes. I mean, my senior year in high school, we had a murder in the hallway. We had a stabbing. I mean, yeah, I mean, I get kind of where we're looked down on sometimes, but there's no other place I would rather grow up. I don't know what the kids do here nowadays, but we didn't grow up sitting on the couch playing video games getting fat. We were riding skateboards, riding bikes, outside all the time, walking everywhere. 3-mile town, you could walk anywhere you want. Never needed a car. But I don't want to live in a city environment like that anymore. That's another reason I wouldn't move back. And one day when I'm finally in Tennessee and people ask me where I'm from, I'll probably say Bayonne, New Jersey, and they'll have no idea what I'm talking about. But I don't know. Like I said before, I think it's almost 18 bucks if you don't have the Easy Pass, 17 something to cross this bridge. But I got over it for free today on foot, so I feel like I'm getting over on people. Alright, we're almost back in New Jersey. Alright guys, so we did it. We walked the Bayonne Bridge from Bayonne to Staten Island and back. If you guys are liking the Bayonne videos, let me know down in the comments, and I'll try and get back here again and find some other places to show you. Or if there's something specific you want to see, leave it down in the comments, and if I could do it, I'll come back. And for those of you that come here for the motorcycles, don't worry, the motorcycles will be back soon. We didn't abandon that. Just wanted to do something different. I don't want to keep making videos of riding to the same places because I haven't really been traveling on the bike lately. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. Helps the channel out a lot. And I hope you enjoyed spending some time in my hometown. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Keep your head on a swivel out there. Later. Alright guys, now I gotta shut you off for real because I gotta concentrate. It's across Kennedy Boulevard so we don't get hit by a car.